Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Yeah. I'll just check quickly.
Good.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Hi, sir. Thank you for your time. Meet Mr. Sanjay Behra. He is the marketing head of Tata Steel. And sir, Sanjay sir, Dr. Rahul Singh, he is Deputy DGFT, and we are thankful to him for his kind time towards this event.
Hello.
Thank you, sir. We will just start in 5 minutes, sir.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this very interesting event. My name is Ravi Ranjan, and on behalf of Indian Chamber of Commerce, I would like to welcome all our distinguished guest speakers, panelists, as well as all the guests who are joining in from across the country today. We have lined up a very interesting event today where we are trying to talk about various domestic and global opportunities, and we are very glad to have partnered with Tata Steel and Department of MSME for this event. We would just wait for a couple of minutes so that all the participants can join. We should be starting in 2 minutes from now. Thank you so much. Requesting Debu to kindly play the first AV.
SMEs constitute the heartbeat of the world's most powerful economies. The Mittelstand, as SMEs are called, is just
MSME sector in India is poised for a major transformation in 2020 with the revised MSME norms. The sector is considered as the bastion of the economy, contributing about 29% to the GDP and 48% to exports. This sector also supports the economy by creating millions of jobs and achieving large-scale import substitution. The number of registered MSMEs in financial year 2020 has increased by 18.49% to 25.13 lakh units from 21.21 lakh units in financial year 19. However, in the current scenario of the COVID outbreak, the impact on MSMEs is hard due to disruption caused in the supply chain, warehousing, export credit, logistics, etc. At Indian Chamber of Commerce, we understand the pain points of the MSME segment, and in this context, Indian Chamber of Commerce is glad to have organized the e-conference MSME Optimizing Opportunities today on 8th October 2020. The conference will have various sessions on vocal for local, optimizing opportunities in domestic market, deliberating on Make in India initiative, zero defect and AMP, zero effect, MSME cluster development program, MSME market development assistant, also known as MDA, enabling manufacturing sector to become competitive 18 through QMS and QTT. The second session will be on looking beyond borders, opportunities in the international market, deliberating on exporter credit insurance of small and medium exporters policy, market access initiatives, packaging for exports. The conference will be graced by the esteemed presence of Mr. Sanjay S. Sahani, Chief of Marketing and Sales, Branded Product and AMP Retail, Tata Steel Limited. We would also have with us Mr. K.D. Bhattacharya, Director IC, MSME DI Kolkata, Mr. Subrata Mandal, CGM NABARD, Dr. Rahul Singh, ITS, Deputy Director General of Foreign Trade, and Mr. Sanjay Behra, Head of Marketing, Tata Steel Limited. We are very glad to welcome all the guests and the speakers today. And without any further ado, I would like to quickly request Ms. Vidisha Roy from Indian Chamber of Commerce for a quick welcome note for all the guests and speakers. Vidisha, over to you.
Thanks, Ravi. Distinguished delegates, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, and our esteemed guests, I'm honored and pleased to invite you all to this conference on MSME Optimizing Opportunities. We had a nice event and a very successful event before in August. And with this event, this is basically the second event after that, and we'll penetrate more towards the facilities which can be provided to the MSMEs. I hope this conference will help us to gather much knowledge and know how the opportunities will actually help the MSMEs and how they can avail the same. I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Department of MSME, Government of West Bengal, MSME DI, and NSIC for their kind support. I also want to thank to our silver partner, Tata Astra, for their strong support, and they made us do this event so successfully. We hope to usher in a new era of MSMEs, which will have local, national, regional, and global action to support the MSMEs. With this note, I pass on this responsibility to our moderator, Mr. Ravi Ranjan, to please carry forward the proceedings of this conference. Please, Ravi.
Thank you so much, Vidisha. I really appreciate that. This is how the event is planned today. We would have the first 40 minutes to talk about, we'll have the inaugural session by various speakers. Then we have technical session 1, where we would focus on vocal for local, optimizing opportunities in domestic market. This session will deliberate on the Make in India, zero defect, zero effect, etc. And then we would have the final session, which is very interesting, opportunities in the international market. This session will deliberate on exporter credit insurance of small and medium exporters policy, market access initiatives, packaging for exports, and etc. It is my privilege to invite our first speaker for the day, also the conference chair for the event, Mr. Sanjay Behra. Mr. Behra is the head of marketing Tata Astrum branded products and retail at Tata Steel. Mr. Behra is a marketing professional with in-depth experience in the following specialities: marketing, brand management, sales, both OEM and distribution channel sales, as well as international business, export and import, and supply chain management. His experience spans a wide spectrum: marketing and sales, product management, new market development, brand launch, international business on steel trading, third country trading. He has worked extensively in Middle East, Far East, South Asia, Europe and Africa, global supply chain management, and has extreme exposure on sales, marketing, supply chain, and new business. Mr. Behra has managed sales volume of over $1 billion independently. I would now like to take this opportunity to invite our conference chair, Mr. Sanjay Behra. Mr. Behra, welcome to the event, and request you to kindly take it from here. Kindly unmute yourself, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Ravi, for a very good introduction. And thank you, a very good afternoon to all the participants. And thank you in Indian Chamber of Commerce for giving me the opportunity. And I feel it is a really personal honor and privilege for me to welcome to our functions, our esteemed participants, as well as distinguished speakers. Hope this webinar will be useful to all the participants. And the webinar is very suitably apt, vocal for local, and looking beyond global barriers. What our MSMEs should look for in domestic market as well as international market. Worldwide, MSMEs have been accepted as the engine of economic growth and promoting equitable development. They constitute over 90% of total enterprises in most of the economies around the world and are credited with generating the highest rates of employment growth. India has grown from a 2 trillion economy to 3 trillion economy in a span of just 5 years, from 2014 to 2019, and aims to become a 5 trillion economy in the next 2 to 3 years. MSME have been the backbone of Indian economy, contributing to 31% of Indian GDP and will also play a crucial role to the growth aspirations of the economy. MSMEs are the second largest employer in the country after agriculture, contributing to 33% of manufacturing gross value added products, GVA, and 48% of Indian exports to the globe. Really a matter of pride. They are a basically key engine of our economy. This is this is particularly critical question for India, where MSME hold the keys to a sustainable manufacturing space. Indeed, even in the even in the future also, even in the there is a COVID-19 pandemic times, MSME have been projected as the lightning rods for the future and sustainable growth. However, as the current global health issue has impacted economic health of the MSME sector, the MSME resilience is crumbling in what has emerged as a risk-ridden business environment. Challenges for MSME sectors. MSMEs strive to become competitive by reducing their cost, increasing their productivity, and some of the current issues hampering their growth aspiration are lack of access to credit, poor technology adoption, weak marketing strategies, inaccessibility to affordable yet skilled labor. Even though they find difficulty in attracting the best talent in the industry, maybe due to they need to improve the work culture or compensation package or something like that. Opportunity for MSME in the manufacturing sectors, some of which they can leverage on various trends and initiatives ranging from government policy to technological advancement to harness the opportunity for growth. Some of the things there, we feel that implementation of technology or robotic automation, e-commerce also they need to implement, and they need to take they need to take the opportunity, primarily the government initiatives such as Startup India, Skill India, Make in India, Atmanirbhar initiatives, and easier access to finance and lending. A close observation of the MSME ecosystem suggests 4 key areas of attention, which have been suggested by International Trade Center's 2020 SME Competitive Outlook. One is that operational ecosystem that is remotely manageable, because in those days due to COVID, how it becomes very difficult. Most of the employees are working from home. How to manage remotely with a proper digital system issue with their digitization route and implementation of Industry 4.0 to build competitiveness. A global trading regime that runs on inclusive supply chains into which all deserving manufacturers can hook onto. Go for a comprehensive green cover for economic and environmental health of the manufacturers and their markets. MSME need to develop a granular understanding of domestic and key global markets to take the advantage for growing their business. Ensuring a radically low operating cost environment for them and promote efficiency. This will be the key objective for them, because sometimes they compete with some of the bigger players where they don't have resource, but they have to compete to grab the market share. Industry associations such as Indian Chamber of Commerce or various government bodies actively should promote financial and business literacy in the MSME space to empower them to self-assess and present their business case effectively. For example, how to improve the credit rating to get a better interest rate, and what are the nuances of international financing norms such as letter of credit, taking credit, other incentives provided by Exim Bank or government to promote their export. Some product and innovation, digital transformation initiatives through connected plant, connected enterprise, connected customer, connected manufacturer will help to build an ecosystem to improve efficiency and opportunity to increase market share and entry to new markets. I feel some of the 4 areas they need to improve. One is financial literacy, another is data literacy, how they can use the data by using tools like artificial intelligence, big data analytics, or chatbot to improve their business, which will help to become competitive and grab higher market share. Digital empowerment, because in those days digital is playing the entirely it has turned around the business. So digital empowerment should be there, and market literacy, especially the export, how they can enter new markets, and knowing the criticality and nuances of the various global markets, so that they can encash and increase their business share. Let us hear from our distinguished panelists, and also this is an opportunity for MSME sector in both domestic and international market to learn more, so that they can implement some of the little things out of the webinar. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Behra. I really appreciate that. I think your deep expertise and insights will help all the guests here and participants to understand the wide spectrum and your contribution towards the ecosystem and development. We move on to our next session. I would like to invite for our special guest for their address, Dr. Rahul Singh, ITS. He is the Deputy Director General of Foreign Trade. Dr. Singh, requested to kindly share your thoughts with all of us.
Thank you, Ravi. Thank you, Indian Chamber of Commerce and the Director of MSME for organizing this event. It's an apt time. We are in block 5.0, so the economy is opening, and MSME has a huge role to play in this opening up. The role that MSME plays is all well documented and established. There's a role in employment generation, there's a role in GDP, exports are all there for everyone to see. There was the exact factual figures were there in the presentation and in the address by Shri Sanjay Behra ji. The point I want to focus today on is the policy issue of how government with their policy initiative can help MSMEs. The challenge in making policies for MSMEs is very wide because the whole spectrum of MSMEs is so wide. You have a company which is into a highly innovative product, making drones using AI for crop mapping. They are also an MSME. And on the other hand, you have somebody who has not even registered with GST. And they also fall in the MSME. So the challenge to make policy for both these two companies which fall at the different end of the spectrum is very large. And but it has to be done. Even the challenge to create the policy has to be done. The government has to pitch in to help MSMEs in their growth.
Interrupting me, Mr. Rahul Singh, your voice is not clear. You just closer to your mouthpiece or your audio device. Okay.
Am I audible now?
But not
yes,
loud. Just closer to your audio.
Yes, it is a little better. If you can just bring yourself a little close to your microphone, Dr. Singh.
Then if you can excuse me for a few minutes, I'll get the headphones.
It's all right. It's all right. We can hear you well now. Please go ahead.
We can hear you, sir. Please.
MSMEs, even though the challenge is to MSME, because of the role that play in our experience, and because of the fact that all major companies are MSMEs.
Dr. Singh, sorry to interrupt you. This is Ravi here. Sorry to interrupt you, Dr. Singh. I think you might want to bring your microphone because there is some background issue. So you can take it off and you can also request, yes, just one second, requesting Mr. Behra to kindly keep yourself on mute. Also, every other guest who's not speaking, kindly put yourself on mute to avoid any background noise. Great, thank you so much. Dr. Singh, you might want to try once more.
Okay. The point I was making is even though because the spectrum of MSME is so wide, we have highly innovative product making MSMEs and we have MSMEs which are not yet registered. This creates a large challenge in making policy for MSMEs. But because MSMEs play such an important role, this challenge has to be undertaken. All major companies were MSMEs at one point of time, and MSMEs being more agile are more suited for more suited in this time of in this time in which the agile companies are better able to adapt to the new challenges and new realities that COVID has put upon. What government has done is that the definition of MSMEs have been recently changed from investment. Now the definition of MSMEs has been moved to your output. There has been change, and this has led to better accounting of MSMEs. Few of the challenges that MSMEs face are lack of availability of credit, which somebody from Nabard would like to take it up, high cost of credit. There is problem to the supply. There is problem in supplying to the government department, and there is problem in accessing the international market. I belong to the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, so I like to dwell upon two issues that make most of MSMEs face, which are problem in supplying to the government department, because government procurement is a huge market which should be available to all MSMEs. What Department of Commerce has done recently, it means a few years back, is that we have come out with a digital marketplace. It's called Government e-Marketplace GEM. All government departments have been mandated to place their orders for all the products that bring in their offices on GEM. I would request all MSMEs who are there listening here to get themselves registered on GEM. It is free, and it provides you a ready market of all government. If there is a central government department in Chennai, they also have to get their papers, their pens, pencils, all office stationeries, all office furniture only through suppliers on GEM. So it has created a level playing field for MSMEs. Earlier, what used to happen is that tendering process was such a tiresome process that most of MSMEs were not ready to supply to government, because the payments were delayed. Now what GEM has ensured is that when you supply to government, your payment will be settled in, say, 30 days. Your payment will be settled in 30 days from the date you have supplied to the government department, and it is mandatory for government offices to settle the payment. The second challenge that MSMEs face is in access to international market. Most MSMEs in India, their focus is generally on the domestic requirement, and in fact, even in domestic requirement, most of it is on the local market requirements. Thinking big, thinking global is the new norm, because what COVID has done is that it has shaken the regular supply chains the world was working on. Most of the supply chains which originated in China are now being looked, and alternates are now being sought. So it is expected that many of the supply chains will now start from the Indian soil, and that's the space that Indian need to capture. What government is doing in this is that if you go to our DGFT website, you will see that we have a scheme called the Yadbandi scheme, in which we are trying to teach MSMEs on how to get your buyer, how international documentation, trade documentations are made, and on different subjects, how you can apply for get unit in SEZ or EMU. In the Nivyat scheme, the government officers are handholding MSMEs in their journey towards international. So these two are the major initiatives by the Ministry of Commerce, by which MSMEs, we are trying to help MSMEs to achieve growth which was not possible to reach. This is all I have to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Singh. I really appreciate that. I think there was some very interesting insights for all the MSMEs, and we would like to thank you on behalf of Indian Chamber of Commerce to share these crucial information with all the participants today. Thank you so much. We move on to our next special guest. We have with us Mr. Subrata Munda, and Mr. Munda is the CP of NABARD. Requesting Mr. Munda to kindly deliver the special remarks.
Okay. And distinguished dignitaries and guest media person, other participants present in the virtual conference. As you are aware, the 56% of the population are depending on agriculture for their livelihood, and whereas the agriculture contributes only 40% to the GDP. So per capita income of the people depending on the agriculture is very less. That is one of the reason is the poverty in India. So there is need to shift this rural people from agriculture sector to the MSME sector, so that their economic condition, livelihood conditions should be improved upon, especially on the MSME sector, manufacturing and services sector. In the rural areas, there is tremendous scope in servicing area related to agriculture. Maybe custom hiring center, maybe equipment, spare, duster, all the servicing areas, repairing. So the custom hiring and the services sector, tremendous scope is there, and that is the area NABARD is concentrating rural. Now, contribution of the MSC, this is to GDP. I might say all the things that their contribution is only 30%, and it generates employment near about the 110 million. Now, NABARD, since after the establishment in 1982, we are considering the importance of the MSME sector. We are supporting the MSME sector by providing this 100% refinance to commercial banks and regional rural banks and cooperative banks. Now, one of the area is there that's a cluster, because we are supporting these things. One is the promotional and activity development activity, and another is the financial side. So first, the promotional activity is there. We are giving us training and skill development training, rural entrepreneurship development training, so to the artisan village industries. And now of late, this is the reverse migration is taking place. So there is another issue is there. Keeping all the issues, NABARD has decided that to give training to the 1 lakh people, that is the 1 lakh unemployed youth, to be trained under the skill development mission of NABARD. And this skill development mission, this training will be given to the institution affiliated or approved by the National Skill Development Council. And one institution, so that's the, if any institution this is approved by the National Skill Development Council, are eligible to apply to NABARD for giving training to this unemployed youth. One. Second is that each districts, the lead banks are there. So lead banks are supposed to establish this RCT or RUSET, the training institution, and this lead banks organize the training program. So that training programs, what are the recurring costs is there, training costs are there. So that is being reimbursed by NABARD. So these reverse migrate people, they can be trained in this RCT, RUSET, and cost will be reimbursed by NABARD. Besides that, corporate house are there like Tata Trust, SSC, Ambuja Cement, Dalmia Cement, all corporate people are there. So they are also collaborating with NABARD on that, and they're putting the CSR fund and giving training under that. So we are collaborating with the corporate house to giving the skill development training to the unemployed youth. Now you know this thing that NABARD has piloted this self-help group bank linkage program as early as 1992. And this is the one of the largest microfinance initiative in the world. So there, initially it was started with the credit linking to the destitute people with the banking system, existing banking system, formal banking system. Now time has come to upgrade this destitute to the micro entrepreneurs. So to make them enterprise, so we are having the two products are there: the MEDP, Micro Entrepreneurship Development Program, and LEDP, Livelihood and Entrepreneurship Development Program. Under the program, we are giving training to this SHG member, and so that they will convert it from the destitute, they will transmit from the destitute to the micro entrepreneurs and then livelihood activity. So that is the things. And now livelihood is we are giving more emphasis for livelihood generating activity among the SHG members. Now, NABARD, one is the area is the cluster development approach, national policy for cluster development. NABARD, since 2006, NABARD is directly associated with this cluster development policy and giving financial support for cluster development activity or program. Now, we have realized this thing that training is the one component, that other such area is the marketing. Whatever products are they are produced in the cluster, so they have to market it. They are facing a lot of problems as far as the marketing is concerned. So to overcome this concern, that we are now promoting the off-farm producer organization within the cluster area. This is the existing clusters as well as the new clusters. So that clusters, the any organizations come for us, and promoting this off-farm producer organization that will be supported by NABARD, and the support will be extended for registration of the company. One. Second is that CEO, that each company has to engage this chief executive officer, and salary will be borne by NABARD for 3 years. Similarly, skill development training and design development training will be conducted, and that cost will be borne by NABARD or supported by NABARD. Now, in the non-farm sector, MSME sector, common facility center to be established. So that will be supported under the off-farm producer organization, and then raw materials depots. So these are the components will be supported under the producer organization, off-farm producer organization program. And then the objective of this, if you see this thing, that off-farm producer organization is to ensure the better income for the producer or member to improve the technology, because the MSME sector, so that's the main problem of the MSME sector. If you see these challenges are the physical infrastructure bottleneck is there, so that is to be addressed. Then inherent to technology adoption by MSME, and third is the capacity building, that is lack of expertise in the product development, design, packaging and marketing strategy. backward for linkages, lack of access to credit and risk capital, and that perennial problem of the delay payment, among others, affecting their cash flow and working capital ability. So these are the challenges faced by the MSME sector. And NABARD is keeping these are the challenges now to come out with a new policy of the Farm Producer Organization so that they can adopt the improved technology, and they can upgrade their skill, and as well as design also, develop their new designs, and they can procure their raw materials in bulk and supply to the members so that cost of the raw material will be less, and so that the income will be more. And then whatever the produce will be there, that will be aggregated, and then that is to be linked to the market. So that that middleman will be eliminated. So that is the novel program for NABARD nowadays. It is the implemented in the states already. 4-5 FPUs are living now sanctioned by NABARD, as is now implemented stage, and another cheaper proposal in the pipeline. Now, another area is there, the marketing area, because when the producers in the MSME sector, that especially that area looked after by NABARD, this is the cottage industry, village industries, and handicrafts. These are highly unorganized sectors, and these unorganized sectors, their main problem they are facing is the marketing problem. To overcome the marketing, this thing, that Mela and exhibitions organized by the different states and different organizations. So that is being sponsored by NABARD, and we are sending these are the artisans, rural artisans, and village and cottage industry people to this Mela and exhibition sponsored by NABARD. And when they participating in the Mela and exhibition, so they come to know this thing, that what are the taste of the buyers, and then thereafter they develop the new product based on the demands of the buyers, and as well as they are now making tie-up with the new buyers, so that throughout the year they can sell their produce besides the selling their own product. Now, NABARD also is setting up the rural mart. When you know this thing, that NABARD since 1992, I already mentioned, that promoting this SCG bank linkage program. Now it is the more than 1 crore self-help groups have been promoted in India. It is one of the largest microfinance initiatives I already mentioned. So whatever the produce they are producing in the rural area, they are facing problems. So one of the problem to be addressed is the promotion of the rural mart. So for the SHG and the FPO, Farmers Producer Farm Producer Organization. So whatever the produce are, they are produced by the self-help group. So that's to be through rural marts. So it's to be set up by the SHG or Farm Producer Organization, and it will be supported by the NABARD, so that they can link their marketing linkage of their produce. And besides that rural heart also being promoted by NABARD, and government schemes also implemented through NABARD. One of the government schemes is that capital subsidy scheme for MSME, where for adoption of the improved technology, that up to 1 crore bank loan, the NABARD will provide the 15% capital subsidy. And for SST, they will provide the 20% capital subsidy. Another scheme is the Stand Up India scheme. Under the Stand Up India scheme, the SC/ST and women beneficiary are eligible to get bank loan between 10 lakhs to 1 crore. And for that, the target is giving this, each bank, rural bank, has to finance at least one SC/ST beneficiary and 1 woman beneficiaries. And this is per year. It is being under the Stand Up India scheme, and it is being monitored in the district level consultative committee. And for the LDMs and DDMs are acting at the Stand Up Connect Center. So any problems is there for the financing under the Stand Up India scheme. So beneficiaries can approach the LDM office and sort out the problems. And it is being reviewed in the district level consultative committee chaired by the district collector. NABARD, NABARD, the new schemes are also giving the, now so many MFIs are there, NBSC MFI is there. So they are also financing this MSME sector in large way, but they are facing the liquidity problem. To overcome the liquidity problem, NABARD has come out to give the partial guarantee for lending to the MFI and NBSC MFI by commercial banks and small finance banks. If the commercial finance banks wants to finance it, so NABARD will provide the partial guarantee scheme. Now, another scheme recently just announced by the government, our Honorable Prime Minister, the Prime Minister formulation of micro food processing enterprise schemes. Under the schemes, there are two components are there: upgradation of the individual micro food processing units, where the 35% subsidy will be provided under the schemes, and another is the support to the FPOs or the SHG and cooperatives under the food processing, micro food processing sector, where that another 25% subsidy will be provided with the maximum ceiling of the 10 lakhs per unit. And for the SHG, the seed capital will be provided up to 40,000 per SHG, and common facility center also 35% subsidy will be provided. And besides that, the branding and marketing, one of the area for MSME sector, so it needs to be improved upon. And for that, under the schemes, 50% of the expenditure will be considered under the schemes. So these are the schemes are there so far as the MSME sector is there. And I thought this thing that we should share with you that what are the NABARD supports available for promotion of the MSME sector, that there is tremendous scope is there for MSME sector. So only thing that what are the challenges I have mentioned, so that is to be overcome, and that the area to strengthen the sector to combine the services, the product standardization and diversification, that is the need of this hour. Expansion of the domestic market outreach is there, and identify the alternative indigenous procurement sources and access to modern infrastructure and technology in clusters, and increasing the digitization and automation. So these are the first area for promotion of the MSME, so that the MSME sector, our Prime Minister, that vocal for local, so this ambition will be fulfilled. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mandal. Really appreciate that. Thank you so much for sharing all those information. We move on to the next segment. We would now like to invite Mr. Bhattacharya, Director of IC, MSME BI Kolkata, requesting Mr. Bhattacharya to kindly share your thoughts with all of us. Thank you so much. Mr. Bhattacharya, we can't hear you. Kindly see if you are on mute. We cannot hear you, Mr. Bhattacharya. Are you using any earphone or headphone? You're not? Okay. So we would try and check your microphone, and maybe you can join after 5 minutes, sir, if that is okay with you. Okay, sir. Thank you so much. We'll try and figure out. Debu requested to kindly check sir's microphone in the back end. In the meanwhile, we would move on to for the keynote address by our chief guest. We have with us Mr. Sanjay S. Sahani. Mr. Sahani is the chief of marketing and sales of the branded product and retail segment at Tata Steel. Mr. Sahani has a rich experience of 25 years, having worked in Tata Motors, Tata International, and Tata Steel. He has worked in the areas such as manufacturing, product and vendor development, supply chain, international business, marketing, and sales. Currently, he's serving as the Chief of Marketing and Sales of branded products and retail, Tata Steel, and he is responsible for revenues grossing over 20,000 crore. Mr. Sahani has completed mechanical engineering from Pune University in 1994. Further, he completed a diploma in material management from Institute of Management Development and Research in 1996. It is a privilege for us to welcome Mr. Sahani and request you to kindly take it ahead from here. Over to you, Mr. Sahani. Kindly unmute yourself. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Ravi. Am I audible?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
Yeah, thank you. Very good afternoon to all the dear panelists, Dr. Rahul Singh, Mr. Subrata Mondal, Mr. K.D. Bhattacharya, and members of Indian Chamber of Commerce, MSMEs, my colleagues from Tata Steel. Welcome to this webinar on MSME Optimizing Opportunities. We've gathered today to deliberate on what are the most critical areas for the Indian economy related to MSMEs. Challenges always come with opportunities, and in MSME case in India, there is a vast canvas of opportunities that have come from new learnings and new understandings, especially in this COVID scenario. Before I move ahead, I want to basically highlight three trends which are the outcome of COVID. These are in the consumer behavior. First, acceleration towards digital, and consumers are now exploring more omni-channels, both offline and online, for their e-commerce. Second, there is an increased focus on health, safety, and environment. And this is resulting in increased in consumption of products which are around these three areas. Third is that COVID has also resulted in an increased focus on nationalism and self-reliance, and hence opportunities for import substitution. Why I wanted to highlight these three areas is that for the MSMEs, post-COVID, it will be a game changer if there is a focus on these particular areas and the opportunities they throw for all of us. Mr. Sanjay Behra spoke on three important areas which MSMEs need to focus. One is financial, second, data and digital, and third is on the market. Let me elaborate and give some points on these areas. In case of financial literacy, it basically means efficient allocation of resources, which I am sure each of the entrepreneur who's connected will understand, because they themselves are economists in their own ways. This, of course, has to be bolstered with financial prudence that will enable the risk mitigation which is there in today's world. The macro understanding of finance in the current circumstances is very, very critical. But the government has unleashed a massive stimulus package for the MSMEs. This is under the chairmanship of the Prime Minister himself. Some of the packages and schemes which are available for MSMEs: the rupees 3 lakh crore Atmanirbhar Bharat package, collateral-free automatic loans for MSMEs to buy raw material, meet operational liabilities, and restart business. Innovation is so very critical for MSMEs, and it will help MSMEs assist in their long-term journey. Third and most important is that the benefit transfer to MSMEs by the current government is direct, which is beneficial, and it is also ensuring that the lead time is much minimal. The second and most important area which has come post-COVID is on data and the digital literacy. Data is a king today, and he who controls his data is able to control the consumers. That is what we are also seeing, how the Amazons of the world are able to increase their market share, their presence. And add to that the digital part. So data is a precondition for MSMEs to discover their own competences, and these can be applied, and access to data can become indispensable for competing and continuing their businesses. Globally, there has been a call that there should be a fair data economies, in which considers the SMEs' interests as manufacturers and service providers. Yes, there are challenges which the Indian MSMEs have to overcome, especially around the upfront investment related to implement technology, uncertainties about the benefits that digitalization can deliver across value chains, inadequate guidance, skilled manpower. But these all have been taken on board by the government strategy, which is to drive digital transformation to enable MSMEs further. The third important area is on market and export literacy. If you show MSMEs the market, they will definitely capture it. Let me give you an example which is very current. From a total dependence on China for PPE kits, India has now become an exporter, manufacturing 5 lakh PPE kits per day, and this establishes the agility of MSME space. So as I said, if you show MSMEs the market, they will capture it. That is the strength the Indian MSMEs also have. Exports are very, very critical to the country and to MSME, and the government has promised support to MSMEs with good export performance under their belts, and their other paperwork including GST by simplifying the processes to access them, and to rate them and to make them eligible for the rupees 15 crore MSME department contribution for their equity. Such MSMEs also become eligible for foreign investment. The third part under market and export is on the merchandise exports from Indian scheme MEIS, which has a reward cap of rupees 2 crore per importer-exporter code from 1st September to 31st December. This will remove the uncertainty and protect genuine exporters while making make in India make for the world. Globally, there is a move to improve the international trade environment for the small businesses and to ensure that all companies, regardless of the size, can benefit from an equal and unfettered access to the global trading system. Along with a serious pursuit of the government e-marketplace, that is to have a world without a middleman on a digital platform, MSMEs can take a positive step towards this new paradigm. And I believe it will be technology driven, which will help MSMEs ecosystem with the opportunities which the current world offers. We at Tata Steel have been working with MSMEs over the past decade. We serve over 8,000 MSMEs in the steel business and have several programs which we run for their benefits, be it in finance, where we run the Urja program, be it the support on technical, which is done through our technical resources across the country, serving the MSMEs in the last mile through our over 100 channel partners which we have in order to support the MSMEs even for their smaller demands and needs, developing products which are not only for Indian requirement but also for exports. So these definitely, as the new further seminar progresses, my teams will definitely try and share these across to the MSMEs who are connected across. My request is join us in your journey to help you progress further. In the end, I will say that COVID has given us newer opportunities. It is showing newer trends. By focusing on the financial, data and digital, as well as the market, SMEs can definitely optimize opportunity. So wish you all the best and thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sani. Really appreciate your deep insights. Before we move on to the next segment, I have a quick question for you. I really loved the way you spoke about data. We all know about importance of data. We all hear about it. We all read about it. But as an MSME, we have seen the adoption or the penetration of data. I mean, something as simple as using a CRM or ERP is still not very, very popular. While look at Amazon, even when we place an order of something as low as 100 rupees, they have exact data points on the customer, and all the large companies across the world are doing. What would be your one insight, or maybe if you can share a quick guiding tool for all the MSMEs who are joining today, how to quickly adopt to the new normal, which is digital first? Your insights on that, Mr. Sahani.
Thanks, Ravi, and a very good question. I will break my answer into two parts. The first part I will talk about Tata Steel, and then and second part will be on for the SMEs. In the last 2 to 3 years, Tata Steel has been investing on digital. This includes the infrastructure on platforms, and when COVID struck us, our investments really helped us. Most of us are now operating from working from home, but still we are well connected with all the Tata Steel systems and businesses as usual. In Q1, when Indian economy went down and production levels in India were very low, we exported a lot and ensured our mills were completely booked. Using digital platforms, we connected with consumers and went deep into India, and in Q2 itself, we were back to our normal production and sales level. By end of Q2, we are at numbers which are higher than last year. So that basically shows you the strength not only of Tata Steel but of how the digital platforms have helped us overcome the challenges which COVID has thrown to us. At the same time, we serve over 8,000 MSMEs across the country, and we felt that there was a need for us to invest in digital platforms for them also. We came out with a platform called Digika, And in the first phase of this platform, we first connected all our 100 channel partners who serve these 8,000 MSMEs on this platform in order to ensure that all their inquiries, all their orders, purchase orders, their supply visibility is all made available to them. Going ahead, we also piloted this with about 50 odd customers last year. In the current year, we are taking this to about 1,200 customers across the country. Customers will directly have access to our own systems, and hence they will be able to take benefits of our supply chain, of the visibility. We will try and supply and support them even in shorter lead times. My last advice to all the MSMEs is do invest in digital, do invest in CRM systems. You can have very simple systems, but which are effective. Digital is one of the cheapest ways of connecting to consumers and having uniformity in your communication, and as well as when you are connecting with consumers across the globe. So this is all I thought I wanted to share on your question.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sahani. Really appreciate that. Thanks a lot. We would now move on to Mr. K.D. Bhattacharya, Director, MSME, West Bengal. Mr. Bhattacharya, request to kindly unmute yourself and deliver your note. Sir, we still cannot hear you. There is some issue with your microphone, sir. Is there someone in your office who can help with the troubleshoot very quickly? Okay. So it looks like
Hi, Ravi. Yeah, I guess there is some technical issue and they're off to sort it out. In the meantime, you can just carry with the question answers, because we have a lot of questions to ask and we have such a eminent panel. So let's complete our more questions since we have.
Certainly. Thank you so much, Vidisha. Really appreciate that. We would now to move on to. Sorry. In the meanwhile, I would also request Mr. Behra, if you can kindly keep your microphone on mute to avoid any background noise. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. That brings us to the end of the inaugural session. We heard from Mr. Sanjay Behra, Head of Marketing at Tata Steel, followed by Dr. Rahul Singh, ITS Deputy Director General of Foreign Trade, Mr. Subrata Mandal, CGM Nabad, Mr. K.D. Bhattacharya, MSME Kolkata, and then we heard from Mr. Sanjay Sahani, Chief of Marketing and Sales of Branded Product and Retail from Tata Steel. We heard some very interesting insights about how data is king, how digital is the new normal, how in the COVID-19, while one segment has been struggling, the other segment who has been able to use data efficiently has been able to be successful. We also heard about how government policies have been changing and evolving every single day to ensure that MSMEs can have a fair ground to play around and expand. With this, I would like to invite Deputy Director of MSME Indian Chamber of Commerce, Ms. Vidisha Roy, to share the thank you note before we move on to the next segment. Over to you, Ms. Roy.
Thank you, Ravi. It was such an enriching session. Indian Chamber of Commerce, thanks to all our invitees and distinguished guests once again. Our sincere thanks to our chief guest, Mr. Sanjay S. Sahani, Chief of Marketing and Sales Branded Products and Retail, Tata Steel Limited. Our sincere thanks to Mr. K.D. Bhattacharya. We'll hear from him just in some time once the technical issue is over. He's the Director in Charge, MSME DI Kolkata, and extends a lot of support to us all this time. Our special guest, Mr. Subrata Mandal, CGM of NABARD, we get a lot of support and guidance from him as well. Our sincere thanks to Dr. Rahul Singh, ITS. He's the Deputy Director General of Foreign Trade. Thank you, sir, for your time, and we get a lot of guidance, a lot of support from you, and a lot of insights as well. And without whose guidance this event was not possible, Mr. Sanjay Behra, Head Marketing, Tata Steel Limited. He is the conference chair. Sir, my sincere thanks to you. Please, without your guidance, it was really not possible. Thank you so much. MSME Optimizing Opportunities. In this particular conference, we are exploring the prospects and opportunities for MSMEs. We would like to extend our sincere thanks to MSME DI Kolkata and NSIC for their kind support towards this conference. And we thank ourselves for partner Tata Astram for their strong support and lot of support we get from them. With this, we close the inaugural session and kindly stay with us for another two very interesting technical sessions. One is Vocal for Local, optimizing opportunities in domestic market. Another one, looking beyond borders, opportunities in international markets. Now, I would request Ravi to kindly carry forward the proceedings. Please, Ravi.
Thank you so much, Ms. Roy. Really appreciate that. Requesting Devu to kindly play AV2 before we move on to the next session.
Okay, just a minute, Rani.
We would like to extend our thanks to Tata Steel Astram for their wonderful support. We move on to the next segment. We are now starting session 1, technical session. This session will deliberate on the Make in India, Zero Defect and Zero Effect, MSME Cluster Development Program, MSME Market Development Assistance, enabling manufacturing sector to be competitive through QMS and QTT. I would like to first invite Mr. Vivek Chauhan, Chief of Marketing Tata Steel, to kindly deliver his note. Mr. Chauhan, over to you. Kindly unmute yourself and please proceed.
Yeah. So good evening, everyone. Thank you, Ravi. And first of all, I'd like to thank. First of all, am I audible? This moment.
Yes, you are. Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So all the fellow panelists, ICC, thank you so much for inviting us for this session, which is of utmost importance in the present time. The subject here is optimizing the opportunities. I thought while seeing the subject, it should be maximizing the opportunities. That is what I thought. Ideally, that is what we want to do. Opportunities are there and how to maximize it. To tell you a story that how we do in Tata Steel, how we are engaged with MSMEs. I'll just take you through our view. We at Tata Steel engage with SMEs both as a supplier and as a customer. So we have suppliers who are SMEs whom we are customer to, and we also are supplier to these SMEs. So it's an interesting flavor of the concerns which we get from both the parties. And we being a large corporate, we realized certain problems which these SMEs were facing. It is very generic, and I think the previous speakers have already spoken about, but still I would like to share it with you. According to us, there are 5 key areas where these MSMEs, which are spread across so much applications, the video showed 40 plus application segments are there where at least we are present. So essentially, one common theme which cuts across all these MSMEs, especially who are using steel or steel-related products, are one, the finance. So financing requirement of these MSMEs has been a big bottleneck. Government has been working on it, but it is one area where still the sector struggles. The second point is on the technical know-how. So let me. So this particular in this session we were there is a point on MSME cluster development. Just wanted to tell you these MSMEs are actually in clusters, and these clusters or the MSMEs have mushroomed around one large consuming sector. So for example, or one large consuming anchor under which these MSMEs have developed. An ecosystem has been there, government has developed the ecosystem which enables these MSMEs to go over people. It's a good thing, but it's a bad thing also. So there is a side to it and there is a negative side. So our take is that these clusters which these MSMEs are developed across various sectors have some issues. What are those issues? The issue is that generally the MSME's technical know-how is dependent upon what the OEM is operating on. Say for example, in say you can consider Calcutta itself. We had Hindustan Motors long back, and it was one of the auto company which was there. And the technology to serve Hindustan Motors and the customers to serve these Hindustan Motors was limited. And the SMEs who were serving them were limited to what the Hindustan Motors was offering them. So the tech know-how becomes a bottleneck depending upon what anchor is doing. when this happens, the another problem which comes with cluster is that the MSME tends to have a market access only that cluster. The from NABARD that there is a way which government is working on to develop the clusters. Of course, we need to develop the clusters from an infrastructure point of view. But what is happening is that because of the cluster nature, the access to market is limited to a cluster. So what we need to do, and these MSMEs are struggling to access a larger market in India and outside India. The third point, the fourth point, which I think is common, is cost competitiveness, and the fifth point being labor and skill. Labor and skill again leads to labor and skills and cost competitiveness are actually correlated. So is technical know-how. So all these three things are actually making the sector, the MSME as a sector, in a cluster less competitive. So what do we do? So is government doing right? Of course they are doing right. Is government doing enough? Probably a lot more needs to be done. So where does Tata Steel come into picture? I think we as a large corporate have more to offer to MSMEs. And that's where we like to share with you what we do with these MSMEs. Mr. Sani mentioned we serve 8,000 to 10,000 of MSMEs, and we purchase products from MSMEs who are close to 4,000 of them as of now. So how do we do this? So what are we trying to do or helping these MSMEs? In a small way, probably this model can be used, probably replicated in other industry, to take government themselves. In finance, government has obviously worked with the other schemes and many other schemes. But again, there are many things which is not letting the MSME touch the funds which are available. What we propose and what we are trying to do in Tata Steel is trying to build a platform. It's a digital platform where we can bring in a lot of lenders, and those lenders can be put in, and these lenders will be given access to these MSMEs. Obviously, the normal way of assessing an MSME will be slightly different than what they do it right now. That is what we have done through a program called Urja. It is from a pilot perspective, it has worked, but there are scale-up issues we are facing. The second which we do is making access a large set of market and also making Tata Steel available to large set of customers. So digital comes into picture. So here what we are doing is, so if we not everybody thinks that e-commerce is all about B2C, but what we are trying to do is that there is a need B2B channel. Government came up with GEM portal, which is absolutely fine, but so government has a portal where everybody can come and buy or sell the products to the government agency. So it is only one part of the commerce is happening. What about the other? So there is an option, probably an opportunity out there to develop a marketplace for the MSMEs to sell. I'm talking about people coming together, these B2B firms together, and then having a platform where commerce can be done amongst the MSMEs, which will give them a larger access to the market. The third thing which we are trying, which the Ministry of MSMEs are also doing, and we have taken cue from them, is to train the labor or skilling the workforce. Because what we realized that skilling the workforce helps the in cost competitiveness. And we do through a program, lots of program through Polython, there is Skill for India, etc. All these names and concepts we borrowed it from the government, and we have tried to reach to these MSMEs and the people out there who are working for MSMEs. So we have Indian Institute of Paint Technologies. There's a pool of experts we have tried to make, and it was a crowd, and they are all registered in it's called eCafe, and they try to and access to the MSMEs to come access these experts. So what we are trying to do is that we want to be really customized Google for MSME. What trying to do only for the steel sector? So probably if something can be done on a larger scale of such thing, it will really work, because we have tried it and we have been really successful doing it. So zero effect, QMS and QTT, all things can be taken care through the system, and crowdsourcing of resources, crowdsourcing of customers, and making people meet together. And as Mr. Sani and Mr. Bera also mentioned about that, data is the new oil these days. So if we go digital, more data is being generated, and these data can be used in much better way to become much more competitive. So that's all from my side. Thank you so much for giving a patient listening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chauhan. Really appreciate that. Sharing your deep insights with all the guests. Really, it was really motivating. We move on to the next segment. We have with us Mr. Saranya Roy, Program Management from Amazon Development Center, India. Mr. Roy would be speaking about Make in India and various other initiatives. Mr. Roy, request you to kindly share your insights with everyone. Kindly unmute yourself and please proceed.
Thank you, Ravi. Just let me know if you am audible.
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you all. A very good afternoon to all participants and fellow panelists. I'm honored to present how Amazon is helping different SMEs throughout our country. I'll quickly share my screen. Let me know if you can see this.
It is visible now.
Thank you. So we will be talking about Amazon Sambhav. This is a special program, special initiative from Amazon, and it actually helps multiple SMEs throughout the millions of small and medium business using their first suite of Amazon, their products, their services, their programs to reach customers, also operate their business and take it to the next level. So my agenda would be very simple. What are the different Amazon selling programs? Why we should be getting attracted towards Amazon Sambhav, and how Amazon actually helps through this program. Before delving into that, probably I would love if you can watch this small sweet video.
Request you to kindly make it full screen, Saranya.
Sure.
सुनो क्या बना रहे हो बेटा?
बुआ, चाची, मासी, मामा सबके लिए कार्ड बना रहा हूँ। दिवाली आने वाली है ना।
नन्हे से हैं, पर सपने छोटे नहीं। मिट्टी के हैं, पर इरादे टूटे नहीं। हवा आई, थोड़ा सा हिल गए। सहारा मिला है, तो अब जुगनू से फिर चमकता है। आंगन में, दरवाजे पर छत खिड़की या अंधेरे कोने जहां बैठते हैं वही रोशनी।
पापा बहुत रात हो गई है, कब आ रहे हो?
क्यों? बुआ चाची मामा मासी उनके लिए सिर्फ ताड़ी भेजेंगे क्या?
तैयार हैं हम फिर वही उजाला फैलाने के लिए।
मैं उनके लिए और पूरे देश के लिए त्योहार का सामान तैयार कर रहा हूँ।
तैयार हैं हम फिर त्योहार
बंटी गई काका तैयार सणांसाठी तयार आहोत.
त्योहार माटे तैयार छे.
उत्सवेर जन्य तैयारी तो
तयार बनाओ.
हम पक्के तैयारी से. हमारे जैसे लाखों सेलर तैयार हैं इस त्योहार की खुशियां फैलाने के लिए.
आप भी तैयार हो जाइए, त्योहार आ रहे हैं.
Amazon Great Indian Sellers present Amazon Great Indian Festival.
I hope you all are very much ready for the upcoming festival seasons. Quickly going through different selling programs, what Amazon offers. I will highlight on 6 different programs, which are the flagship 6 programs from Amazon. First one is sale on Amazon, the most basic ones, where a particular seller, any SMB can become an Amazon seller and sell to crores of customers across India. Then I will be coming to Amazon Business. This is the Amazon B2B. It's a kind of very late offering from Amazon, where you can sell in bulk to any business across India, set your own wholesale prices, and also get the GST input tax credit. Global selling. This is very important and very lucrative for our SMBs, where you can join Amazon Global Selling Partnership and you can sell from India to 180 plus countries. So I actually work particularly for this particular section, where I work for Amazon Indian sellers, the overall whole world sellers, where they are selling in Amazon Europe, different 7 platforms. Now coming to Amazon, Amazon Launchpad, I can hear some background noise.
मोनोलॉग है. हाँ बोलना है.
Mr. Behra, request you to kindly keep yourself muted, please. Hello. Just apologies for that, sir. Just give me a minute.
Sure. Yeah, Amazon Launchpad. This is something, a very special program we have launched only for startups and merchants. We offer a specific, we call it land.
You talk about the opportunity in international market from various market. What are the intricacies?
One second.
Debu, request you to kindly mute Mr. Behra, please.
Sure. So in the Amazon Launchpad, we offer specific landing page to that those upcoming or emerging brands. This is a specific, you can call mini Amazon website only for startups and emerging brands, where you can buy all in their products in a very specific way with a very special discounts and special prices. Amazon Saheli, those who have been part of my last speech at ICC, I talked about this particular Amazon Saheli program. This is a special program to help women entrepreneurs establish themselves in the world of online selling. And Amazon Karigar, this is to help artisans and government employees showcasing and selling their unique products. They make this through Amazon online. So these are the 6 different programs we offer in Amazon. You can take to the road of any of these 6. To start with, you have to start with SOA. That's the sell on Amazon. I'll move to the next segment. Why we should be joining Amazon Shambhav. I have picked one very recent event which we had in August. We call it Amazon Prime Day. So this time, due to COVID, we have to kind of postpone this. Usually it happens around July. This was the biggest 2 days ever for SMBs on Amazon.in. Even despite COVID impacts, there were 209 SMB sellers who became crorepati's in these 48 hours. We saw 4,000 different SMBs whose revenue crossed 10 lakhs mark. So there were these Karigars and Saheli and Launchpad. They saw year-on-year growth of 6.7, 2.6, and 2.1x respectively. So this was huge. For this particular Karigar, we have seen 6.7 times if we compare with for the last year's Prime Day. We have served 97% of the pin codes in India, and you remember that this is only order coming from Prime members. If you take all the members, it's 100% of pin codes we cover. Only from Prime members, we've got 97% pin codes covered. We launched a new launch. We saw a 5x in customer purchase. So this is purely on the new launches, different products or services in Amazon. And we saw around five times growth in 2020 if we compare with 2019. Over 1,000 of new SMBs sold this year. So they have debuted, means they had their first time ever Prime Day from 100+ cities. So this was really a kind of moment of pride for us, where we saw for the first time there were 1,000+ new SMBs joining us. And we saw over 1 million Prime members who, not only that particular Prime Day, but we have 14-day lead to Prime Day. Through that 14-day period, they have ordered from Amazon, only specifically from SMBs. So this was a huge success. Why I just highlighted this only Prime Day, this is one of the snapshots, how our SMB is getting benefited from these different 6 programs. I'll also show at the end one anecdote from a very specific sellers. I'll move how exactly Amazon helps. Probably this will be the more the technical of the whole day. So these are the 4 areas where Amazon actually helps. Amazon Associates. This is one platform where we provide different contributors. Like say, if you have a very good blog, if you have a YouTube channel, so this is the place where you would be enabling Amazon different products to get some revenue. We share revenue. So you utilize your web presence to advertise for Amazon. You recommend their product to earn with every click by joining our Amazon. We call it affiliate network. So these Amazon Associates actually helping lot of content creators at web to kind of monetize their contents. Now coming to Amazon advertising, we saw our fellow panelists were talking of data. This is where our artificial intelligence, we have a lot of products like Next, like different recommendation engine. You must have seen that in Amazon, whenever you buy, you can also see recommended products. Like we have a similar recommendation engine for sellers. For your category, which particular product would be getting much more glance view. We call it glance view in Amazon. So this is a particular solution where we help them to optimize their advertising budget on Amazon to kind of enable or promote their product, and that should be appearing in highly visible placements within Amazon. So not each and every product should be advertised. Which product should be advertised? Which are the categories you should be advertising? So those are the different recommendations this particular program helps. Amazon SPN. This is a very kind of unique concept within Amazon. Like Amazon is a platform for all the sellers. This Amazon SPN is a platform for all the service providers. Now, who are the service providers? Service providers can be a person who will help you in listing your product in Amazon, who will help, say, by providing models, who will help in, say, shooting your product. So there are a bunch of, say, photographers, models, different creators, content creators. They will create the product page for you. So these are the different service provider network. You can choose, you can see their rating, you can see which particular location they are from. You can connect and you can easily get your product listed at a very professional way. Not only that, you also can become a part of this Amazon service provider network and get paid to provide service for other Amazon sellers. If you have that system, suppose a freelancer, suppose a photographer who has a very good system, he can enroll himself or herself in Amazon SPN and help the other SMBs or other Amazon sellers. And the backbone which Amazon helps with these SMBs is Amazon Pay. And this, as you know, we as an end customer also, we use Amazon Pay day in and day out. And they have a very dedicated tool for Amazon SMBs. They don't need to go to different banks. They don't need to get a lot of, say, very complex coordinations with different merchants. So Amazon Pay very seamlessly provide that whole payment system, and it becomes, and so that they can kind of focus on their core competencies, which is their product or their service which they are selling, rather than focusing on this payment gateway or payment coordination. So this is one thing Amazon really helps with. This is one-stop shop for payment related solutions.
Hi, Saranya. I just wanted to remind you, you have 2 last minutes. Thank you.
Sure. I am at the last slide. I would be ending with one anecdote from us.
हम लोग हैंड टूल्स, पावर टूल्स, कटिंग टूल्स, ऑल सॉर्ट ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल टूल्स के अंदर हम लोग डील करते हैं. हम लोगों ने अमेज़न पे जब स्टार्ट किया था, हम लोगों को ये पता नहीं था कि आगे जाकर के ये कितना क्या हम लोगों को आउटपुट देने वाला है. लेकिन आज जब हम उस चीज को देखते हैं, हमको नहीं पता था एग्जैक्टली कि ये टूल भी लोग बाग ऑनलाइन खरीद पाएंगे कि नहीं. जब हम लोगों ने स्टार्ट करने का सोचा था, तो हम लोगों को लगा था कि कैसे पॉसिबल हो पाएगा, तो शूट करना, इस पे लिस्टिंग करना, इस तरीके से काफी टफ लगता था. लेकिन जब हम लोगों ने एक्चुअली जब स्टार्ट किया, तो ये सारी चीजें हमको काफी आसान लगने लगी, क्योंकि Amazon खुद ये सारी चीजें, उसके जो खुद के चैनल पार्टनर्स हैं, उन लोगों ने जो सर्विसेज प्रोवाइडर्स रखे हुए हैं, वो लोग भी आपको हेल्प करते हैं. और प्रोडक्ट को ऐड करना, लिस्टिंग करना, वो सेल्फ एक्सप्लेनेटरी है, काफी इजी है Amazon के ऊपर. आप अगर खुद से भी करना चाहे तो कर सकते हैं. Amazon ने जब B2B स्टार्ट किया, उससे हम लोगों को रेगुलर बायर्स उससे मिलने लगे, रेगुलर रिपीटेटिव कस्टमर्स मिलने लगे. हम लोगों के ऑफलाइन का जो काउंटर था हमारा, जिससे बैठ करके हम लोगों को ऑल ओवर इंडिया का रीच नहीं था. हम लोग एक पुणे के छोटे से जगह पर बैठे हुए हैं, वहाँ से बैठ करके हम लोग ऑल ओवर इंडिया के कस्टमर्स को सर्विस प्रोवाइड कर रहे हैं. उनको माल हम लोग बेच पा रहे हैं, उनकी सारी जरूरतें हम लोग पूरी कर पा रहे हैं. लोग ये कहते हैं कि एक्चुअली ऑनलाइन स्टार्ट होने से हमारे बिजनेस पे काफी इफेक्ट पड़ा, बट मैं मानता हूँ ऑनलाइन की वजह से ही हम सबकी जिंदगियां बदल रही, और Amazon ने वो हकीकत में किया.
Thank you. That's all from my side. Thanks for listening out. Thank you, Ravi.
Thanks a lot, Saranya. In my personal capacity, I have got an opportunity to work closely with Amazon, AWS, and various initiatives, and I'm very glad to share that I think Amazon has completely understood the Indian ecosystem, and now with various initiatives such as Amazon Launchpad and Amazon SMB, I think this would be a wonderful journey ahead. Thank you so much, Saranya, for your deep insights, and it was a pleasure listening to you. We move on to the next speaker. We have with us Mr. Devbrata Mitra, Deputy Director, GNC, MSME DI Kolkata, requesting Mr. Mitra to kindly share your thoughts with all the guests today. Mr. Mitra, over to you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Distinguished panelists, I'm happy to be here with ICC audience once again. But ICC this time has given a very long gap. Make in India, then credit support, technology upgradation, rates, quality certification. So I don't know how much time I will get, but still I will try. Basically, Make in India, what is our aim? Our aim is to transform India into a global design and servicing and manufacturing hub. That is the basic objective of Make in India. Now I will give you some data on this. India is, you all know, the population of 1.3 billion, and out of it, 809 million fall in the age group of 50 to 64. This is supposed to be the working age group. Now, we are set to become the youngest country with average age of 29 years by the year 2025, so 5 years yet. And India has demonstrable capability to reach 100% literacy, I think, by the year 2025 again. And India has already become the third largest economy in terms of GDP, and market potential of India is utterly promising. Now, with this background, when Made in India was announced in 2014, we actually thinking of a nation building mission. Now the problem is, now after COVID, we are also hearing that Atmanirbhar Bharat. Now why this again Atmanirbhar Bharat? Thing is, the policy approach is to create a conducive environment for the investment, to develop a modern and efficient infrastructure, and to open up new sectors. Problem again is there, we have COVID, we have all lockdowns and everything stopped, then we have to go back. Now along with all these two things, again we have to come up with what is our side, Ministry of MSME, the other body of MSME in the country. We have numerous schemes. So little I will just tell you what are the schemes about. Now credit support schemes. Now when people come to us, earlier they used to come physically and tell, sir, I want to start a business, and what credit help we can have. Now in this respect, my first response is, what is your target of investment? Now you know that Prime Minister's Mudra Yojana, that is the first starting point of every small business, which gives 10 lakhs, maximum 10 lakhs loans from the bank. Now if you go to a slightly higher scheme, I will suggest them to go for CMEGP, which is actually Prime Minister's Employment Generation Program. This is managed by KVIP as the national level, and here also in the state Khadi and Village Industries Board and District Industry Center, they are taking. Now here also you will get up to a list from 10 lakhs in Mudra scheme to CMEGP 25 lakhs. Now if a woman comes to us or a person from SC background, they come to us and they tell us about the scheme, I will rather tell them to go to Stand Up India, where you can get up to 1 crore for every one woman and 2 SCs in per bank, that is the allocated target. So that is another very important scheme. And more importantly, all these schemes have the support of Credit Guarantee Trust Fund for MSEs, known as CGT MSE, where you don't have to pay any collateral up to pay investment of loan limit of 2 crores. So this is a very fine part of it. All these things have this facility, and we have also interest subsidy certificate scheme. Now, quickly going to the quality aspect, we are talking about ZED. Now, ZED is actually when we launched the ZED scheme, actually, Mr. Representative was the first to launch the ZED scheme. We named this as Financial Reimbursement Scheme for Activity ZED. That was the first mistake we had done. Actually, people were earlier getting reimbursement for ISO 9000. Now, they thought when we stopped ISO 9000 reimbursement, they thought if the other scheme came and they will get reimbursement. It's not like that. JADE has presented a model where the concept of quality has a holistic change from a tool for compliance to a source of competitiveness. Now here comes the central government scheme. Now whatever is our objective is, it is actually an assessment model. How far you are in the global market, it is your own assessment. So first of all, the best of assessment was the one that is free of cost. Now, whatever cost you have to incur for acquiring rate, government is supporting and they will give you the reimbursement. That is separate part. But first of all, our MSMEs should like to know whether I am able to be a part of the global chain. Now, the scheme of ZED is to enable the advancement of the industry to a position of eminence. The model should be applicable to all sectors of manufacturing. Earlier it was for manufacturing, now we have changed the scheme to service enterprise as well. Recently we have inspection from our headquarters that again there is a change in the date scheme. It will be more friendly, more acceptable way, and I think that this new scheme of ZED will come by the end of this year. Now after that I will quickly go to the cluster sector. This is a very important sector. Cluster concept has been developed long back in the Asian countries, in Singapore, in Thailand. We have China models, but still we are not far behind in cluster concept. We have a scheme of MSME, Micro Small Enterprises Cluster Development Program. The scheme is very beautiful. It doesn't require anyone to go to the financial institutes or bank for taking for loan. Here you will get a Government of India grant. What is the project cost? 70% of the project cost is given by the government under the scheme as your grant. So you don't have to pay. The only thing is you have to make a group of MSMEs to form SPVs, special purpose vehicles, and you have to promote all this together to start one project with DPR submitting to us, and it will be passed by the steering committee. It is fine. Now your contribution is 30%, but 30% consists of your building, your land cost, everything. So if you have a building, if you have a land common to all the SPV, MSME is a beautiful scheme. And again, there is another scheme for cluster development in a different way, that is for regeneration of traditional units. And here this scheme is known as Furti. Under this scheme, which is again very important, because the Furti scheme, we have heritage cluster, we have major cluster, we have mini cluster. Heritage cluster is 8 crore limit. Major cluster is 3 crore limit. Mini cluster is 1.5 crore limit. There is a scope for soft intervention free of cost. Hard intervention here, 25% of the project cost has to be borne by the SPV, and there is no cost for the implementing agency or SPV. So this is also a very good scheme. Now coming to the market side, that I will not take much time, but unless I tell you about the market, it is very difficult for me to justify my presence here. Optimizing the opportunities to market, we have a recently developed scheme known as PMS scheme, that is Procurement and Marketing Support Scheme. Under this scheme, we give support for participation in the trade fair. We give support for vendor development programs with the various CPA, Station Office, government departments. We want to have a one-to-one relationship with the MSMEs and the public sector undertaking, and we have a public procurement policy which says that 25% of the total purchase of CPC has to be done from the MSME. You must be aware of that. So in the vendor development programs, we try to give them these inputs. We have a MSME Samadhan portal where you can have any direct payment issue also. So there is a lot of improvement to make us obsolete what MSME. So unless we have the proper information, it will be difficult for the MSMEs to go ahead. So these webinars is nothing but a session of information sharing. And finally, I will say that apart from MSME participation, apart from your Furti participation, there is always importance that we should know about the IPR. Now, IPR also, we have already established an IPR cell here itself in our campus. We have IPR cells in Kharagpur IIT, and we are also in Jagatpur. We are working with the various institutes. Already 12 institutes are ready to share this IPFC facilitation cell. IPR issue is very important. If you have any innovative product, if you are doing it, you must have IPR, you must have trademark registration. All this will be looked after by the IPR itself. So with all this and incubation also, new ideas incubation, that is also important. For that, we have invited all the reputed universities and CSIR labs to come with us, work with us together, so that we can have an incubation stage to a final, giving the final step as a new product.
Thank you so much, Mr. I really appreciate that. You have always been a great support to all the MSMEs, and we at Indian Chamber of Commerce we are very glad to have your support, constant support. We move on to the next speaker. We have with us Ms. Kasturi Sengupta, Chief Manager Technical from National Insurance. Requesting Ms. Sengupta to kindly share your thoughts with all of us. Hello, Ms. Sengupta.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. So I thank you. I thank you, the Indian Chamber of Commerce, for giving us this opportunity to present here in this esteemed conference. And really, it is going on very well. I was really privileged to hear to all these speakers. And on behalf of National Insurance Company, I would like to talk on something a little different. That is the insurance that you are going to offer to this MSME clients. Now, insurance is one of the integral parts for any economic growth. As you can understand, if there is any loss to the property, then the whole money, the investment, that gets jeopardized. So insurance comes as a boon to the person who has lost the property, and it provides him again to come back and to join the mainstream after any loss has happened. So particularly for the MSME, the DFS, that is the Ministry of Finance, they are also in the fray. And in fact, they are after us, especially the PSUs, that is the Public Sector Insurance Company, to come up with a product. To responding to their call, we have come up with a product exclusively designed for the MSME clients. And this product is also IRD approved. So we are going to launch it within another 10-15 days. Now, I would like to share with you in which way we can stand by the MSME clientele and what are the coverages that we are offering. Mr. Sanjay Sahani was speaking on the three important focuses, that is of an MSME: finance, digital literacy and the data, and the last one was marketing. So taking the cue from them, I was just thinking if I also position my products on these three, then it will be easier for you, the listeners, to correlate how we can come up and we can also stand by the investment that the various organizations are making. And also the MSME, the particular person, the particular business that he is having, how we can stand by them in the hour of the need when there is a loss. So to protect the finance, the products that the insurance company, that is National Insurance, we are the flagship company in the Eastern India. We have our headquarters in Calcutta. So, and we are a 116-year-old company also. We have a long association with ICC also. So the product that we have is a MSME package product. So what is the package? All these products are available as standalone products now as a package, and we have given the economic constraints that the MSME industry, these persons may have, we have come up with a product, and that is priced at the nominal premium they have to pay. And this product can go up to a sum insured, that is a turnover of 250 crores, because the ministry, they have the definition of MSME now goes up to the maximum turnover of 250 crores. So we also provide the cover to any client who has got up to 250 crores, this package product. Beyond 250 crores, of course, our standalone products are available. Now, what this package product covered? The first, we give the fire cover. Fire, as you all know, because all of you are associated with some industry or the other. So the fire cover doesn't only mean the fire where we have the ignition. We also cover lightning, we cover explosion, we cover riots, we cover terrorism, flood, cyclones. Earlier we used to think that it is only the coastal areas who are prone to cyclones, but Amphan has proved that no, the suburban area, the Kolkata and the nearby areas also were equally affected. So flood, storm, tempest, cyclone, these are also covered. Impact damage, that is anything falls, any vehicle comes and destroys this thing, or if there is any impact from outside also, that damage. Landslides, this is very important in the Uttarakhand, in the northeastern areas. Any loss due to landslide, any loss due to any sprinkler damage, any leakage, bushfire. So all these are covered under fire. We also have an earthquake cover because earthquake is a very important cover and there are huge losses to properties, catastrophic losses, especially in the Bhuj area, that is in Gujarat, in the Jammu Kashmir area, and also in the northeastern hilly areas. So earthquake is also covered. So with all this, we are offering a very nominal premium. This is the fire cover. Not only we give the fire cover for the building, that is the premises, we also give for the contents. Now, what are the contents in any MSME industry? That can be the plant and the machinery, the accessories, the furniture, fixtures and fitting, the stocks. Now, the stocks, I also elaborate, it can be the stock in process, the raw materials, the finished product, the unfinished product, everything can be covered. So you can cover the building, the contents. The contents means the plant machinery, the accessories, the furniture, fixtures, the stock, which is processed, unprocessed, raw materials, finished goods, everything. We also have an additional cover with some additional premium. Suppose somebody has a cold storage. There is a deterioration in the stock due to any power failure in the power grid, or there is any temperature change inside the cold storage. So that can also be covered. The removal of the debris. After the fire loss has happened, fire means not only fire, as I told you, it may be a flood loss, cyclone loss, like lightning, riot, terrorism, earthquake, landslide, any loss. The removal of the debris is also covered. Spontaneous combustion can be covered. Then the omission to insure. Suppose the person has forgotten to insure something. So we give a leeway that, okay, it's a mistake is a mistake. So 5% additionally at the same premium you can cover. Then it comes the loss of rent. Suppose there is an earthquake or any loss, then somebody is losing out on the rent because the property is totally damaged, or he has to move on to some alternative accommodation because of the loss here. So those cover is also there. Temporary removal of stock. Following any loss, if the stock has to be temporarily removed to a safer destination, so that cost also is covered. Any leakage, contamination, like that, there are plenty of covers which can be covered under fire. So what I want to impress upon, that fire does not mean only fire, that is the ignition where we can see the flame. All these additional things can be covered, and this we have brought under MSME. Apart from that, another important cover is the fire loss of profit. What the loss of profit means? It is the loss of revenue. That is a consequential loss. Following the fire, there is a material damage. So maybe the manufacturing or the services that is stopped for some time. So this person is losing on the revenue, or he is losing on the profit that he has planned. So we can give a cover for 6 months, that if 6 months, if you do not have any revenue, you do not have any income, so this policy will pay. But this will follow only if there is a loss due to fire, lightning, riot, flood, or earthquake, like that. Following that loss, if there is a loss of revenue or any loss of profit, primarily a loss of income, which is consequential loss, following that loss, then that can also be covered. Another important aspect, especially in the COVID scenario, is the burglary loss. Because many people have lost their jobs, there has been a huge economic crisis. So we are seeing that lot of burglary theft claims are there. I mean, we can't help it because there is an economic crisis that is going on here in the country. All over the world it is. So burglary losses are also on the high. So burglary and theft, that also can be covered in that MSME policy. A person can cover his computer, his laptops, his mobiles. So we call that as the electronic equipment policy. So that is also there, available in the package policy. Now what I want to impress, that all these policies are available as separate policies. But for the MSMEs, we have clubbed them together and we have brought it at a very minimal premium to cater to the needs of the economically challenged people. Personal accident. If the owner of this MSME, that factory or that service sector, he dies due to any accident, or he is disabled due to the accident, then this personal accident policy will pay, again at a very nominal premium. The last portion is very important, that is liability. Liability is a little known policy in the Indian market. In the foreign market, liability is a very sought after insurance. What does liability mean? It means that if as an owner I am negligent, and because of my negligence, a third party. Now who is a third party? Anybody other than the owner and the insurance company. So if a third party is either affected bodily injury, death, or there is some property damage. Suppose I run a coconut sort of a factory where there are a lot of coconut trees. I'm manufacturing some coconut mesh or some coconut coils and other things. So I have a lot of coconut trees. Now, because of my negligence, the coconut falls on the neighbor's roof and it destroys the room. It falls on the neighbor and he has a head fracture. So it is my negligence that I did not pick up that coconut when it was ripe, and I let it be on the tree so that no, it fell from the top and it destroys my neighbor's property, or my neighbor, he had some bodily injury. So it's a negligence that I have not reacted in the proper time. So this sort of liabilities, I am a manufacturer. I know that there can be some leakage in the gas, but still I have not repaired my machinery. All of you remember the Bhopal gas tragedy, what had happened, the methyl isocyanate gases spread. So this can happen, no, with the manufacturing industry, that any negligence, thoda sa laparwahi, and that will lead to a mass death. It may lead to a lot of property damage. Recently, one of our clients, no, there was an acid tank and the embankment that broke. So the acid actually had spread on the fertile land that was there, cultivable, next to that factory. So the farmers, they lost their crop, they lost their land. So these are the property damage which my negligence can cover. So these come under the public liability. So public liability is also an essential component of the MSME. And lastly, we have the employees' compensation. Because of my negligence, if my employee suffers a loss, so that may happen to some MSME workers. So that also is clubbed. So to recapitulate, the MSME package policy will have fire. Fire means that ignition flame, along with lightning, explosion, riot, strike, terrorism, flood, landslide, sprinkler damage, earthquake, etc. And also deterioration of stock due to temperature variance, power failure, spontaneous combustion, removal of debris and other things. We have the burglary cover. We have the loss of profit. That is, if there is a damage, the person cannot manufacture something, there is he cannot continue with the services. So the loss of earning, the loss of revenue, that can be covered. Electronic equipment, that is the machineries, the laptops, the mobiles, these things can be covered. Then personal accident, that is the death or the disablement following any accident to the MSME owner. Public liability means because of the negligence of the MSME owner, if any third party is affected, that is covered under any property or death or bodily injury, that is under the liability. And lastly, if any employee dies or has some bodily injury because of the negligence of the owner, then that comes under this package policy. Now this is as regards the finance. Now the second point what Mr. Sahani was discussing was the digital literacy and the data. So next we come to the cyber cover. So we have a cyber policy, and I feel very happy to tell that we are insuring many financial institutions, and State Bank of India, that is the premier bank of our country, is our insured. So the State Bank cyber policy is insured with us, Axis Bank. We have a lot of policies. So we also have similar cyber policies for the manufacturing sector, that is the MSME and the service, and the service providers. So what the cyber policy will cover, in a nutshell, it will cover two things. One is the third party losses. What is a third party loss? Suppose the distributors I have, all their details are with me, because I make the payment through my computer. So their PAN number, their all these things, their bank account details, everything is there with me. Because of some hacking, if that third party data goes to some other person, then they will make a claim on me that I had given all my confidential sensitive information to you, but because of your negligence, because of there is a breach in the security system that you have in your cyber, it has gone to some other person. So there can be a claim. Another can be a first party loss. So what is a first party loss? That is some virus attack, some malware attack, some ransomware attack, or my system has collapsed due to some virus attack. So there is a loss of data. So all this can be covered under the cyber policy. So to sum up, from the insurance angle, we can have two policies. One is the MSME package policies. It is a package policy, especially for the MSME owners, which is being given at a very low cost. Apart from that, we have the standalone policies of fire. We have the single policies. All of you must be accustomed with the Mediclaim as well as the car policy, because all of you have to take that. That's a compulsory insurance. So the other products that we have is the fire, liability, burglary and all. This can be taken as a separate cover. This can be taken as a package policy at a low cost for the MSME people. And secondly, we have the cyber cover, which can be given to the MSME. So we are located in Calcutta. Any of the MSME people they want, we can give, and huge discounts also we can offer. So that is all for now. Any questions? I'll be happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sengupta. Really appreciate that. I think for MSMEs, especially during the COVID scenario and now what we call as a new normal, insurance has become very vital. It always has been, it always was. But I think now it plays a very significant role. We would certainly have some questions towards the end of the session. Thank you so much. We'll take those questions. I would now like to invite our speaker, Mr. K.D. Bhattacharya, Director IC, MSME DI Kolkata. Mr. Bhattacharya was supposed to be speaking at the inaugural session. Due to some technical issues, we are now going to listen from Mr. Bhattacharya. Mr. Bhattacharya, request you to kindly go ahead.
So now, thanks to God, at least I have got been connected. It may be a reflect that I'm not a relevant person for this. Anyhow, I convey my thanks from my institute to ICC for conducting such relevant program, and you have invited very prominent department, that is means Tata Steel and the insurance company, which is very much needed now to know this. We motivate the MSMEs that you take all the professional management system, that is you insure also your industry, your business, but they are somewhat neglect or reluctant to do this. Anyhow, your webinar will motivate them to do this. Anyhow, I think all the policy has been covered by my speaker, my officer, Mr. Dimitron. I always, Ms. Bhattacharya knows, I always like to work for tangible goal and achievement. I fix my goal and review what achievement is there. So I invite all the chambers, particularly ICC, this type of renowned chamber, to involve more and more on our MSME team activities. You please involve yourself to implement these team activities. Like this Tata Steel, I request if any dependency is there, I think they may not be available. If that time, if I get, I request them that what is our public procurement policies there, that is for the central government department. That means 25% you have to purchase from MSME sector. The same policy, not that it is a statutory policy, you take it is a promotional policy at your end. You take care that you are giving a support service, you are giving a social service, you are helping to MSMEs, because if anybody is helping to MSMEs, it is helping to our social life. I also argued to Central Public Sector Undertaking that what is your CRS fund, Social Corporate Responsibilities Fund, that fund may be utilized for the product development by MSMEs. Because if MSME develop, social will develop, MSME benefit, social benefit. Because these benefits will be populated to our many percent in the social. So I only conclude with two schemes, which is very much vital. And if this scheme can be developed, then I think the MSME will be developed very drastically. One is I am trying to develop a CFC in the 4 regions. One is for the migrant labor, one is Amphan super cyclone affected persons and area, and the surplus worker from MSME sector or even the industry sector. Suppose in the COVID time, there are many surplus workers, they have lost their job because they have got everything, they have got skill. These migrant labor, they have got the skill. In the super cyclone area, bridge area, they can work hard. So in this area, we can see that what is the skill, what is the interest, and we can set up the common facility center. If common facility center will be there, the scheme is at 90:10. That means land they have to give, and the land and building and the plant and machinery government of India and state government will give. So if they can get like this type of common facility center, the migrant labor, for example, in Midnapur district, in jewelry section, there are many migrant labor. if a common facility center, if a factory is handed over to these migrant laborers, they can get the job much better and better than their proprietor. And they can beat their proprietor very easily because they have not got any interest, they have not got any depreciation, they did not pay return back of the loan because it is not a loan, they have not even a risk. So only they have to come, they will work and they will earn. So you please, my request to the association, please be involved in this type of activity, that please implement that our Spurti scheme for this sector, village sector, in the rural sector. Already Nevada has sold the scheme.
Yes.
And I want to convert this scheme of the NABARD and MSME, all the other development department to in one point so that it can be achieved greatly. Not that I can do alone, not that NABARD or other development agency can do alone. If I convert in the state of West Bengal 5 to 6 departments, then I think it will be very easily achieved. For example, if we convert with the agriculture department, with the fisheries department, we can implement this because I have got only limitation, many limitations. So with this limitation, until I cannot join hands with the association like you or with other departments, I cannot achieve. But it is my great dream and also my great trust from my department that you develop MSC CDP scheme for the existing MSCs, for the cluster development scheme, and for the migrant labor or for the, in a one water for the artisans, for the skilled persons, the Spurti project, which is a government aid up to 98%, not a loan, not a, it is a grant. So you please implement this scheme, and if we can up to yet 9 CFC has been developed, 6 is in process, already they are got the fund, they are developing. There is some tangible achievement there, but I want to set up at least 2 either MSC CTP scheme or Spurti scheme in each district. That means my target in this year about 50. So you please help me and propagate this scheme, motivate this scheme, identify this scheme, and assist me to achieve this target. With this, again, I convey my thanks, particularly to Vidisha ma'am. She is behind me, that's why you should be there. So on her special request and the invitation from the ICC, I take this opportunity to reach to each corner to this webinar. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mitra. Really appreciate. I think on behalf of Indian Chamber of Commerce, we are very, very glad to have your constant support, not only as a department, but also as a mentor where you help us plan such events. Thank you so much. Really appreciate your help, Mr. Mitra. That brings us to the end of session 2. We heard from some really, really great speakers such as Mr. Vivek Chauhan, Chief of Marketing Tata Steel, Mr. Devabrata Mitra, Deputy Director, MSME DI Kolkata, Mr. Salina Roy from Amazon Development Center India, Ms. Kasturi Sen Gupta, and we also heard from Mr. K. Bhattacharya, Director ICMSME DI Kolkata. Requesting Debu to kindly play AV3.
Okay, I'm playing just a minute.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. We are now at a very, very interesting session. The session is looking beyond borders, opportunities in international market. This session will deliberate on exporter credit insurance of small and medium exporters policy, market access initiatives, packaging for exports. I would now like to invite General Manager and Country Manager Tata International Limited, Dubai, Middle East and Africa, Mr. Joydeep Guha. Mr. Guha, kindly share your insights with our guest today. Over to you.
Thank you, Ravi. Good afternoon to everybody, and thanking ICC for giving me an opportunity to talk. International markets are very luring especially for India and more importantly for the MSME sector of India. We have probably about 6.3 crore MSME industries, and out of which probably 94%, 95% would be micro industries, which means also that there will be a huge role for a consolidator or set of consolidators to look at the international market. I think this segment being very small or individual entities being very small, there would be a big role of government involvement in promoting this. And I've been hearing most of the earlier colleagues who have been talking about this segment, highlighting what the government or the government enterprises are trying to do to develop this. I think some of the initiatives are huge, very, very important, but I think that there needs to be alignment with realities in terms of the international market. Among the government responsibilities, probably the first segment perception of India. I think the perception, the biggest contributor to improve the perception would be by the. So, for example, in markets, and each of the markets or regions will bring in their own uniqueness. For example, Middle East markets would have a certain not so favorable perception about materials coming out of India. However, there are other markets, for example, East African countries which is dominated, the industry is dominated by Indian origin, people from the Indian origin, where the perception of India is very high. So the government needs to identify such uniqueness of markets and try to take advantage of them. The government also has to go through various promotional activities that other competing countries are doing. For example, the Turkish embassy takes customers of a particular segment or a particular product. All the customers from the market takes them to Turkey, makes them meet at the government cost all the industries and the opportunities, having trade discussions with all the enterprises, which leads to substantial improvement in the trade relationships between the two countries. That the government needs to do. I think data reliance is another very important topic which some of the earlier panelists did talk about. Example, one of our largest competitors is China. China is making arrangements with various customs of various countries and trying to get data on HS codes to give more authentic import data, product-wise, market-wise, to different customers within the country. We also have to look at what competition is doing in these markets. So while some of our earlier panelists talked about the way insurance industry is trying to support MSME, I think one larger point which probably got missed out is the credit insurance, where we need to play a role. If you look at, if we talk about, taking a cue from what Mr. Mitra was telling earlier, India has a huge potential. We are looking at Make in India, but we don't see a credit insurance company of global repute in India. You have all the global credit insurance companies coming out of Europe or China. We should have a much more mature credit insurance entity coming out of India and the Indian exporters. We also have to, for example, in Africa, these are markets which are even during this COVID times, the GDP growth is nothing less than 6.5% in any of those countries. We have the population growth being very influential in terms of looking at higher consumptions, and these are countries which are more and more dependent on raw material availability and high technology availability from imported products. These are markets where we should be able to get in. We also have, we are talking of vocal for local. in India. But you have to also remember that most of the governments going forward would be looking at vocal for being local. And keeping that in mind, the Indian exporters should not be looking, or the government should not be looking only at make in India, but look at being made in India, which means that if they have to be present, they need to look at being present locally through their own setups in different markets to take advantage of the more and more tariff and non-tariff barriers that the governments of various countries would slowly and gradually put to save their own industry. Economies across the globe are not doing very well. Everybody will try to look at how to improve their own or how to protect their own industries. And it would be very important for our government to look at not only helping promote industries getting developed in India, but helping Indian industries to promote and develop their own shops or manufacturing facilities in markets which are attractive to Indian exporters. I would like to end by saying that the potential of Indian exporters is huge. It is only our own government's accountability, our government's ability to make their facilities more and more accountable, evaluate the promotional schemes that they are doing in a more unbiased way, which will not only improve the perception of India and Indian products, but also help in making the process of exports and international marketing much more smooth, transparent, and adaptive to different markets and different cultures. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Guha. Really appreciate that. I think your global perspective definitely helped all the participants. We'll try and take the question towards the end. I would now like to invite our next speaker, Ms. Devdatta Nandwani from East India Trade Advisors. Ms. Nandwani, request you to kindly share your thoughts with everyone. Kindly unmute yourself and proceed. Yeah. We can see you and hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, and thank you for having me over at this session. It's lovely to have heard all the other speakers in the last session as well. And I find that the topic is a wide range where it covers credit insurance and packaging and many other perspectives of exports. Yes, SME, as we all know, contributes almost about 45% of exports to India's export kitty. And the vibrancy of the MSME lies in the fact that they have a diverse range of products and services. And it's the largest employment generating sector. We have a huge variety of range across the country coming up from SMEs, and while we have seen that businesses have got disrupted post-COVID, in my view, I think we should take it as an opportunity for in other markets than the traditional market. Also look at diversifying in terms of products, add products to our basket of exports. As far as MSME is concerned in export,
Ms. Nandwani, there's some bandwidth issue. There's some bandwidth issue at your end. I would request you to kindly switch off your video and just proceed with audio. Thank you. This is much. Please go ahead.
Better?
Yes, yes.
Okay. We find two trends in this. One is where the MSME is manufacturing the products, and merchant exporters are buying it from them and exporting. The other is where the MSME manufacturer is the exporter himself. Having seen the MSME very closely during my tenure with FIO, I would suggest that a beginner in exports from the MSME sector should definitely look at having both options of being a manufacturer as well as a merchant exporter. In the case of merchant exports, you have the choice of moving from product to product and understanding your market. In the case of a manufacturing exporter, you would be restricted to one or two products. So if you are a beginner in terms of exports, it may turn out better to keep this option of being a manufacturer come merchant exporter. What we have seen amongst the MSME, in fact, it's not just limited to MSME exporters. We do have a challenge in terms of packaging and also meeting international standards. Packaging is an area where I think, in addition to the government support and agencies who promote export packaging or bring about awareness, I think there needs to be a little more push from the private sector in this area in terms of awareness of packaging international standards. The other is your market intelligence and market information. We find a lot of exporters from the MSME, they start exports, they do one or two consignments and then discontinue. So we need to identify the reasons for discontinuing after one or two consignments. One is that sometimes before you start exports, you don't do enough, you do not collect enough market information. While I would say domestic business is driven by other factors, international business primarily is buyer-driven. And we need to do our due diligence on and sufficient market intelligence. Product placement is another point that I would like to stress. We need to now move from traditional products to value-added products. A couple of years ago, maybe, onions, when exported, had a good market. Today, chopped fried onions have a better demand. So we need to look at value addition in our export products. And in all of this, I think for the MSME sector, for those who are just getting onto exports, facilitation agencies need to do a little more of hand-holding than just having awareness programs. Because what they need to assist in is the procedures and having them understand the international standards and the difference between selling in my hometown and selling across borders. One of the most important phenomena which we have probably come to our attention during the pandemic is the risk involved in international business and the need for having a credit risk insurance for your exports. Post-pandemic has caused international trade to shrink. We are all aware of the figures in the last couple of months. And with respect to their overseas buyers. We have seen large corporations in US, Europe, they have filed for bankruptcy and they continue to do so. And as a result, the exporting countries back home and across the globe are experiencing a crisis situation.
Minister Nandwani, you have one last minute. Thank you.
Yeah. So insurers like ECGC will definitely agree with me that there has been a significant growth in export credit insurance demand. And it is very important that exporters understand that credit insurance should be a part and parcel of their exports and not be an option any longer. Along with that, I would also look at the exporters themselves doing their due diligence on their buyers. If we do not do this in these uncertain times, it is actually being penny wise, pound foolish. So it is very important to, while we look at a credit insurance for our export consignments, we also do a due diligence and risk assessment as an exporter on the buyer to do safer trade. So I'll end with that. And thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Ms. Nandwani. Really appreciate your deep insights on the topic. We would like to extend our gratitude to you on behalf of Indian Chamber of Commerce. We would now like to invite Dr. Professor Gautam Datta from IIFT Kolkata. Dr. Datta would be speaking about the global landscape and opportunities for MSMEs across the world. Dr. Datta, over to you.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, everybody. And Raviji, thank you very much for maintaining time also. I'm the last speaker, so I have the privilege that at any moment of time I can stop, and nobody will feel bad. So that advantage is with me. The previous speakers I was hearing, and really the topic of today that on which I'll be speaking of, the MSME and opportunities, what are opportunities on MSME? Actually, when we talk about MSME and cross-border opportunity, I believe that opportunities are infinite. And as Madam Nandwani was talking about, that look, we had a temporary shrinkage during this COVID time. But already the indications are coming, even WTO is saying that world trade is bouncing back. It cannot be stopped. It cannot be stopped. $16 to $17 trillion of trade we used to do. It cannot be stopped. And Madam Nandwani was also saying that look, a huge chunk of that, of that export which we do from India, belongs to MSME sector. Always we have said, not only here, in almost all the countries of the world, even in the developed European countries, MSME, they have their own advantage in terms of going cross-border. And that's true in India. And I believe that post-COVID or during the COVID, I believe that that can be much more encashed by the MSME. And I've been talking about that for the last couple of months, that a new opportunity is coming out. What I'm trying to say that, look, MSMEs are always in advantageous position because of their flexibility to cross-border. And it's not me saying, they have shown also, they have testified it also, that they have the natural advantage. At the same time, the opportunity this time, that COVID, post-COVID, that provides us a wonderful opportunity. And you may be questioning me that, look, when things are looking gloomy, what opportunity you are showing to the MSME? But not really that MSME, I'm saying opportunity in the real sense of opportunity. Why I'm saying so? I'm just trying to explain. See, MSME sector, I've seen that because of my intimacy with the MSME sector all over India and some other countries also where I travel, they can change their country, destination countries very quickly. And I've always been saying that, look, if the big companies are focusing only on some European countries and very trademark type of countries, developed countries, MSMEs are more prone to hit and run type of, small countries. Not good in terms of GDP, not good in terms of GDP per capita, not good in terms of bulk import, but they provide that less competitive environment. And the less competitive environment, that means what I mean to say, if I export to Japan, it could be, as an MSME exporter, it could be difficult for me, of different types of regulation, SPS, TBT, all sorts of areas, But I understand my product, which I develop in my country as an MSME manufacturer or trader exporter, it has its own inherent advantage. And somewhere across these 220 countries, there will be takers. I've been traveling to different countries of the world. Even when I travel to Somalia, many will be surprised that is that country too good. But there are many who were asking me that, can you send this product? Can you send this product? We are starved because your exporters are looking only to the big countries, not to the small countries. Anyway, where I am exporting, it will fetch me not tons of dollars. So why to wait? And MSME is good in that. I've seen more diversification in terms of countries is with MSME. Because this, just like, elephant may take time to turn around, but it's not a fox, that can turn around very quickly. So therefore, I understand that this is the inherent ability of MSME to be flexible enough. And that's why they can quickly go to the smaller countries, and it doesn't depend upon that only the bulk export I'll be making. So therefore, that is a specialty for MSME. And what I'm trying to say that, as the different countries are coming out of COVID-19 situation, they'll be feeling more and more requirement of their products because of the, say, the subdued situation that we are facing right now. So that provides an opportunity. The second opportunity that I see and have been advocating that, look, wherever in international market, we send a product to another country, that country customer, say, I'm sending it to United States of America. And I'm saying that, look, this is a produce of India, and nowadays, people definitely will be, more aware of, say, an American customer. He will be aware of that, look, this product which I am taking, is coming from all the way from India. So it's likely that the consumers will be aware of. And when they are aware of, then the one thing that we call country of origin effect comes. Say, I'm sending to America, and American customer is consuming my product or using my product by saying that, look, this country of origin is India. Not much hedonic effect will go into that American customer. But see, vice versa, when American MSME sends the product to India, and when I am using the product, I say, wow, this is a product made in USA. No, this is the product in USA. I had my own occasion. I purchased a shirt from Sweden. Now, only after reaching India, I found that there is a small sticker inside. It's written made in Bangladesh. I said, oh, what I have done. I have brought this piece all the way from Sweden, Stockholm. So this is called a hedonic effect. Hedonic effect on the part that affects the customer. That hedonic effect all along happened. And that's why the developed country, when they send the product to us, they become instantly successful. And when we send the product to a developed country or any other country of the world, we do not become so instantly successful. Another aspect along with country of origin, I would say that country of manufacturing. That country of manufacturing. Where it has been produced? Ye kahan ke bane hue hai? This is produced from China. People used to be habituated with that. That we in lighter term we call sasta, sundar, tikau. Tikau bhi nahi ho sakta hai. Maybe, but sasta hai, sundar hai. And therefore, Chinese product will be sold in the different country of the market. Last 20 years, we have seen that China specialized it. At some point of time, China had a negative country of origin effect. country of manufacturing and negative. Negative effect means negatively affecting the consumers who are consuming it. We still facing it. But China very carefully, they overcome it. Now nobody gets surprised. If we are in America, if we are going up to the Empire State Building and coming down, you will find the replica of Empire State Building is produced in China. Nobody raised eyebrows. As if that, oh, China, sasta sundar, may not be tikao. Again, I am reminding. So, what I mean to say, that way, China dominated the market. China's MSME flourished in this way. That the country of manufacturing is built up by the country and MSME under this umbrella, taking the advantage of that and enhancing their export. Now, this pandemic, COVID-19, gives that wonderful opportunity to the MSMEs. Why I'm saying so? Again, because of this country of manufacturing effect, we see it is dwindling. It is no longer, of that type or that shape, which it used to be in the pre-COVID scenario. Say, if I am offering you that, look, this is the food product produced in China, and you are a Japanese consumer. Definitely, the country of manufacturing effect will affect the Japanese consumer negatively. At that time, the Japanese consumer will be wanting for some substitute where the COVID-19, because of COVID-19 pandemic, the country has not been so defaced like China. So the alternative country, everybody all over the world, people are saying, and you have heard several times, that alternative country is India. And in India, the MSMEs, as we say, that 30 to 35% of our export, they have flexibility, they can, bounce back, they can change their product, they can change their country. That's a wonderful opportunity. For today's meeting, today's deliberation, I was going through, say, as an MSME exporter, and if they are listening to me, what they'll be thinking, okay, you have said so, fine, that's pretty good, understandable. That hedonic effect will no longer be with China. So, how do I say the see-based market where I can export? Where I will be exporting them? China is defaced. Okay, fine. That understood. But where I export? When this question comes, how I will reply to that? And in answer to the questions, I was saying that, look, only if we see where China exports, and which are the products where China is number one, number one in terms of, say, 2019, before pandemic broke, in which of the products, precisely in the richest code, obviously, which of the products China is number one, upper number K, in terms of exporting the product against all 220 countries of the world. मतलब what I'm trying to say, ये 220 country में कौन सा product में China number one है. And when I find it, see, and some of the products where China is number one in terms of export, you'll be surprised that we are also very good at. But China dominated because, as I said, the country of manufacturing effect. We couldn't. Maybe China is the number one exporter, and we are, maybe 13, 14, 15 as India. When India is 13, 14, 15, obviously, we have reason to believe that not many MSME exporters have not been able to break through to those countries. But see, why they could not break through to those countries? Obvious reason will be that competition. That competition we are facing from China. China is Arnold Schwarzenegger. They used to be in the world market. They have a macho. They have a macho feeling. And we couldn't match to that macho power of China. But this is the first time we are seeing that this Arnold is not that Arnold. Mean to say, don't take in that way. The Arnold Schwarzenegger will be there in his own team, but this China is not that stronger because what I said, say now wonderful opportunity. Say some of the products where we are having resource advantage, skill advantage. Say honey, huge market for honey. China used to export. Then say I was looking through some mats and other bamboo product of bamboo. Then number one you'll be laughing, where China is number one. That is bamboo agarbatti. Number one. You know what is the size of bamboo agarbatti China exported 2019? 110 million US dollars. Do you know what honey China exported? 235 million US dollars. And you will be surprised to know where this honey, most of the honeys have gone into. Who were those Chinese honeys consumers? Number one is USA. Number two is Japan. And both of the countries, their consumers may be reluctant, not maybe, would be reluctant to take Chinese honey to enhance their immunity, and if they know that this is made for Chinese. And it is also true that they'll be looking for opportunity, alternative. Who can provide this alternative? We have huge resource advantage for some of the products that I was seeing today or day before yesterday. That where China is topmost, and of many of the products, because of the geospatial similarity with China, many of the products we are also very good, But only thing, we will be famed and overtaking China if our MSME takes this advantage. As we have been talking about that, looks in this world, we have been seeing that year by year we have been seeing that easiness that prevails in documentation, easiness in understanding the transportation of the product. Everything is becoming making more easy and easy in these days because of internet, computer, all sorts of things are standardized. So all these things being standardized or a little bit easier than before, only thing it MSME is try those markets where there is an opportunity. And always in domestic business also, we will be used to say that look, go to those markets where you have opportunity and be the first mover, and you will be the winner. See how it is effective this time. Here we are talking about that this COVID-19 scenario is giving us opportunity, huge opportunity. China dominates world export market. If China weakens, definitely we are stronger, and out of us, MSME will be much stronger. That we need to propagate. MSME must understand that this is the time for them to expand their market, hit those markets where China used to be number 1, 2, and 3. So in this way, I believe there's huge opportunity. The topic of the session is opportunity for MSME. I believe that I was doing justice to this topic and saying about the opportunities that are knocking at the door of MSME. I'm very happy that Robiji has not warned me that 1 or 2 minutes. But what was in my kitty, I wanted to say that I have said. I believe you have understood my point, those who are listening to me. And it is a time for MSMEs to get into and hit. Anna, over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sundar. I think it was interesting hearing from you, and I'm sure all the guests would agree that this is now the time for MSME. I think it's very interesting to see right at the beginning of the pandemic, 3 things happened very interestingly. Number one, India was struggling to get a domestic COVID testing kit where my lab came into picture, and they started making the first indigenous product to do the testing. In fact, just last week, India has now become one of the first countries in the world to have a paper-based test, which will cost as less as 10 rupees, and it would now be as easy as just going and buying something from a retail store, and you can get the test done. I think that is going to be very powerful. Number two, as you mentioned and other speakers mentioned, India is now producing one of the highest number of PPE kits, including N95 mask as well, which shows the true production power of India. Given the fact that MSMEs keep receiving all the support, we have miles to achieve. So thank you so much for your deep insight, Dr. Professor. I would now like to invite Director General, Indian Chamber of Commerce, Dr. Rahul Singh, to share concluding remarks. Dr. Singh, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So I think it has been, although I missed some part of it because we have some parallel events going on, but what I gather and what I have been briefed, that the session has been extremely valuable and useful. I think what we have heard, that there is a huge opportunity, and government is doing its bit in terms of putting the right kind of policy framework in place. Government is also engaging very closely with industry. Ministry of Commerce has identified 24 sectors where India can become self-reliant. And I think this exercise has been going on for last 2 or 3 months. ICC and some of our members have been part of it. And now government has gone into great detail of each sector, looking at the challenges, sourcing, raw materials, export markets, the value chains, issues with the logistics and everything. So government, I think, has taken a very, very professional and business-like approach in terms of fixing all the policy as well as the regulatory issues. It is also, I think, on the industry, all of us, including Chamber and also all the partners, including companies like Tata Astrum and the Tata Steel. And we are really happy to partner Tata Steel and Tata Astrum. Mr. Sanjay Behra is here. Thank you for the partnership. I think within the private sector, the large companies, the medium and the small ones, and also chambers like us, the consultants, the technology providers, this network can also do plenty of things together. And I think startups also become an integral part of this whole game plan. And there is a lot which startup can also do in this space. So overall, I would say the opportunity is huge. There are plenty of things which India has been importing. And to some extent, the policy framework and the duty structure has been such that it was easier to import than to manufacture in India. It was actually cheaper. I mean, you could make more profit out of it. So that trader mentality has to go away, especially in those sectors where India, where India has the expertise, India has the capability to manufacture. And what you just heard, during COVID, India has been able to establish and prove that. I mean, India was not making any PPE kits, or India had shortage of masks. India was not making enough ventilators, and within a short span of time, things worked. And we are aware at the back end how the government worked very, very promptly with the private sector. Like the samples were developed somewhere in South, and one of the army aircraft traveled all the way, got the samples to Delhi. They were approved overnight. And so that is the kind of mode in which government is working. And I think forums like this, and with the expertise of all the people who spoke today, with all their support and collectively, I think we'll be able to capture the opportunity and take advantage of it. Before I end, I think I would like to thank all other speakers who have been with us during the day. I would also like to thank Tata Steel, Tata Strum, and the team. Also, Mr. Sanjay Sani, who spoke at the opening session. And let me also express my thanks to Mr. Joydeep Guha for speaking to us, Mrs. Devdatta Nandwani, and lastly, and very interesting address, I would say, Dr. and Professor Gautam Datta. So I think for MSMEs, it's also important to understand and get the relevant data about the markets and the opportunity. And I think institutes like IIFT are definitely suitably placed to guide and to work together. With these words, I would like to once again thank you all the speakers. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Singh. I really appreciate that. Once again, just to conclude, on behalf of Indian Chamber of Commerce, we would like to thank all our distinguished speakers, our guests, every participant who joined in. Thank you so much to Tata Steel, Tata Astrum, Department of MSME. We would like to conclude the event with a quick saying that this is just one of the various events which Indian Chamber of Commerce is doing for MSME. We have Ms. Bibisha Roy, who would be sharing more details for the upcoming events. Once again, thank you so much, everyone, to join this event and make it a successful event. Thank you so much. Have a great week ahead.